What are you scheming, Sephiroth?
That's for me to know. Trust me, you'll like it.
I see. So that's it.
What did you do?
Don't you worry. Eventually, our goals will align. And when they do, we shall meet once again.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, finally a game came out for the PS4 that I had to buy day one. The game I'm obviously talking about is Dissidia Final Fantasy NT. But was it the right choice? Okay, before we get started, this review is going to be the first review on my channel in this format. Since I don't want to do a normal structured type review, I'm going to mix it up a bit. I like to rant, so my reviews from now on shall be ranting reviews, basically meaning reviews done in a rant format. So, is everybody clear about that? Yes? Okay? Good. Hello everyone, I'm Metal Horror Gamer, and this is my ranting review of Dissidia Final Fantasy NT for the PS4.
Your purpose in this place, however, is to fight, fight, fight! And as long as you keep at it, your efforts will be rewarded, Kupo! Splendid, Kupo! Well, enjoy your wonderful journey, Kupo!
To be honest, I haven't played a Dissidia game since the original on the PSP, and if I'm honest again, I didn't really care for it too much. The concept was good, but the limiting controls of the PSP made it very hard for me to stick with it. I played it so little that I don't even remember the story all that much. So yeah, and to be honest, again, I didn't even bother picking up Dissidia 012, just because I knew it wasn't going to be any better from a control aspect. I felt this way because the PSP wasn't built for this type of game, in my opinion. I need a second thumbstick to make things more manageable, and that wasn't happening with the PSP, so I just let it pass by me. Eventually, I heard of Dissidia Final Fantasy NT, and it caught my interest just because it was coming out on the PS4, so I knew the controls were going to be much better. I didn't do any research on the game before I bought it. That's a problem, and you should never do that, but I did it, and I'll get to why that's a problem later. But I bought it because I like Final Fantasy. I grew up playing Final Fantasy 7, Final Fantasy 8, and Final Fantasy IX on the PS1. I also played Final Fantasy X on the PS2 as well. And of course, later on, I did play other entries such as Final Fantasy VI, Final Fantasy I, Final Fantasy II, and Final Fantasy XIII, which I seriously regret, but I did play that hallway simulator. I just bought Final Fantasy XII on Steam, and I can't wait to play it because I never got to back in the day. And soon in March I shall buy Final Fantasy 15 for the PC as well. But to get back on topic, yes, I love me some Final Fantasy. So I was sold just by the name on the cover. And plus I knew what to expect when it came to gameplay. But you wanna know what's fucking bullshit? You could buy a steelbook cover for Dissidia, and there were 3 in total with different characters on each of them. Now since Final Fantasy VII is my favorite Final Fantasy, and since Sephiroth is my favorite Final Fantasy character ever, I wanted the cover with him on it. But there was a problem. I couldn't buy that one directly. When you purchase the steel book, your copy gets chosen at random, meaning you have no choice in which one you're going to get. So yeah, that fucking sucks. As mentioned before, I wanted the one with Sephiroth on it, and plus it had Squall on it as well, so yeah, fucking awesome, right? Hell yeah. But if I didn't get that one, I at least wanted the one with Cloud on it. The one I didn't want had Lightning on the fucking cover. Now I mentioned earlier that I played that hallway simulator disguised as a Final Fantasy game, and guess which one I got? Yep, the one with fucking Lightning on it. If I had to guess why they sold these in this way, I figure it's because they knew most people would want the one with Sephiroth or Cloud on the cover. They knew most fans wouldn't want the one with Lightning on it. So instead of being stuck with the warehouse full of Lightning Steel books covers, they just said, fuck it, make it random. Don't let them choose the one they want. So yeah, I knew when I ordered this, I was going to get the one with Lightning. I just knew it, and I was right. Just my luck, right? But whatever.
Kill me now. Oh.
Hey, what do you think you're doing?
What have we here? Ask a dumb question and you get a dumb answer.
So, what is Dissidia Final Fantasy NT? Well, it's a fighting game with basic RPG elements, and usually the battles are 3-on-3. Dissidia was developed by Team Ninja and was published by Square Enix and Koei Tecmo. So how is Dissidia? Well, for starters, the graphics look great. It's awesome to finally see all these iconic characters in glorious HD like Cloud and Sephiroth. Still waiting for that Final Fantasy VII remake though. Supposed to come out years ago, but whatever. Oh, and the gameplay, it's so much better here. Mainly because of the fucking controller. It's much better than the PSP. Thank you, I can finally have a second thumbstick. I will say, even though I understand how the game is played and how it works for the most part, a part of me just wishes I can get a real traditional fighter with Final Fantasy characters. Something like Dragon Ball FighterZ, or even like Mortal Kombat X or Injustice. I would love a one-on-one fighter or a 3v3 fighter. Someday, hopefully. But for now, we have Dissidia.
It appears our victory was preordained.
If you just jump in without ever playing a Dissidia ever in your life, I promise you, you will be confused. I know how to play, but I barely even understand what's actually going on. Here is how you play from what I can tell. In a standard match, you keep hitting your opponent with the circle button until you see these numbers turn purple. Then you can hit them with the square button, and that will incapacitate them for a few seconds. They aren't out of the battle though just yet. You need to incapacitate the other team's warriors a total of 3 times, and you win. Not each member 3 times each, but just 3 times in total. But also, during the battle, a random summon core will appear. The more you damage the summon core, your meter builds up. This will allow you to summon your summons, like like Ifrit or Shiva or Bahamut, or Leviathan. You know the summons. Hopefully.
Had enough of these guys. Burn them up.
Let us summon aid.
May your gelid spires rend them.
Descend and shock our foes into submission. They won't survive your blade!
Why don't you shower these rejects with the tidal wave?
Let your decree be known!
May your wrath leave the world in ruin.
When you first start playing the game, you get one summon automatically, and you get to choose which one by random. Like, they're invisible and you have to choose one. Hopefully you get a good one. I got Odin, which is okay, I guess. And the more you level up, you unlock more of them to use later on in future battles. These summons are useful in battle because they give you buffs or debuffs and can help incapacitate your enemies for you, or just seriously drain their health. So when you see these pop up, make sure to make these a priority. You need to break those fucking things. In the core match, you basically just have to destroy the other team's core, but you can't do damage to the core as long as one of their warriors is in the force field. So you have to knock them out of it, and then you can continue to give damage to the core. Once the health of the core is completely drained, you win. And that's pretty much it. There are only 2 types of battles you can do. Oh, and before I forget, there is also a sparring mode that you can play. In sparring mode, you decide what the rules are during the match. And that's pretty much it. But while you play the game, you level up your profile, and each of the characters you're using during that battle will also level up and gain experience. And while you play and gain experience and level up, you unlock treasure points to get free unlockables, such as icons, music tracks, weapons, and new costumes. And for every battle you play, you also gain gil. And if you don't play Final Fantasy, gil is basically money. And also, every so often when you level up, you unlock a new summon, which is pretty cool. Also, you get these points you can use to unlock parts of the story. Speaking of the story, there isn't one. Well, there is sort of, but not really. If you want to play a campaign in Dissidia Final Fantasy NT, you're shit out of luck, because most of it is just cutscenes. Yeah. When you go to story mode, there is a grid, and you can unlock sections of it with these points. And most of these sections are just cutscenes. And once in a while, you will actually be able to battle other characters or clones, or even have boss battles with the summons. But there is so little to no parts that you actually get to play in this so-called story mode, it might as well be a fucking movie. If I had to guess, take a rough estimate, I would say 95% of it is just cutscenes, and 5% is actually gameplay. That is disappointing. If I knew this before I bought it, it might have changed my opinion on whether I bought the game day one or not. You see, this is why you research a game before buying it. This is important information that I did not know when I purchased Dissidia. Now, I do know now that this game was actually an arcade game first, and maybe that's why it doesn't have a real campaign mode, but it's still unforgivable. Dissidia could really have benefited from a real badass, kick-ass campaign mode. But some would just tell me, hey, it's a fighting game, go play online. But I can't, because since I refuse to pay for an online service because it's a ripoff, I can really only play the offline mode. So if you're like me, you're only going to be playing that. and every once in a while watching cutscenes in the story mode and maybe sometimes fighting actual battles in that story mode. So when you look at it, it's really a letdown. Why would they do this? Even the PSP game had a real fucking campaign mode, if I remember correctly. So if you bought this game and don't have PSN, I hope you can get enough enjoyment of just fighting bots in the offline mode, because that's all you're going to be doing. Now usually something like this would get old for me rather quickly, but I usually just end up fighting bots all the time in fighters anyway, so it's not that big of a deal for me. But I would have liked at least a real campaign to play. Campaigns are what I value the most in video games, which is why I usually don't buy fighters or multiplayer only games. But one thing that keeps me coming back, besides actually having fun with the actual gameplay, is hearing those classic songs in the background. This game has an amazing soundtrack. A lot of the songs we loved from all the games are here, and even new arranged versions as well. But when it comes to sounds, there's something here that will annoy you to no fucking end. And it's the fucking Moogle, or Mog for short, whatever you want to call it. During the battles, it won't shut the fuck up. It's always saying shit like, use your skills, Kupo, or attack the core, Kupo, and she never shuts up. She goes on and on and on throughout the whole battle, to the point where you're just pulling out your fucking hair and you just want to finish the battle because you want her to shut the fuck up.
Use your skills, Kupo. Core incoming, Kupo. Go crush that core, Kupo. Use your skills, Kupo.
Attacking the core.
Summon your servant,
This
Kupo.
calls for a summon the battlefield with waves.
Finish that foe, Kupo.
So here's a tip. Before you even start playing, go to the settings and turn it off. You can thank me later for telling you this. Now I don't mind when she's saying Kupo when you unlock shit, but I don't want to hear her giving me hints or tips or whatever, the same fucking tips again and again and again while I'm fighting. That's fucking annoying. Who thought that was a good idea? That's terrible. When you first start playing, you only have so much music you can listen to, but you can unlock music by using those treasure points that you get, or you can use your guild to buy more tracks. The guild is also good for purchasing new weapons and outfits in the shop, so at least when I'm playing offline, I don't feel like I'm completely wasting my time, because I'm getting more tracks and etc. I personally think one of the best things in this game is the soundtrack. Music has always been an important component in a Final Fantasy game to me. I need great music to fight to, and being able to hear my favorite tracks while I'm fighting just fills me up with nostalgia and an awesome feeling. But other than that, there's not too much else that comes with the game. Sure, as you unlock more stuff in story mode, you can unlock special battles for offline mode, but these basically just restrict you to using only a select few characters, so it's not that big of a deal. So for $60, you get an online mode and an offline mode and a story mode that is 95% cutscenes and 5% actual gameplay. Is it worth it? Well, that's tough to answer. The regular gamer in me says, fuck no. I paid $60 for a game that I can only play in offline mode with bots and a short CGI film, with some gameplay thrown in every so often. To most people, I would say stay away from this until the price is reduced to like $15 or less. because just playing the same 2 modes offline or online, for most people it will not be enough. They're gonna run out of things to do in this game rather quickly, and if they don't really enjoy the gameplay, you're gonna get bored. But on the flip side, the Final Fantasy fan in me says, yes, it's worth it, because I love being able to play as my favorite characters and beating the shit out of other characters while listening to some of the best tracks in video game history. Plus, I love unlocking all the extras such as summons and music tracks and weapons and new outfits. But even though I'm having a fun time playing Dissidia right now, I wonder how long will it keep my interest? I don't know. I'm still playing because I want to unlock every part of the story, but the question is, will I keep playing once I do? Or will I lose all interest in playing? I honestly don't know. I won't know that until I get to that point. But I can't answer right now because I'm not done. All I can say is, if you really love Final Fantasy and don't mind just playing 2 modes online or offline and watching a story mode, then I say pick it up. The game is fun and is very challenging, but for others I say, if you don't have a love for Final Fantasy, there is just not enough content here for you, and the confusing battle system is just going to push you away anyway.
Lick your wounds and taste your weakness.
Now, I don't like giving number reviews for games because it really doesn't mean anything. So I would just say it's a fun game with great music, with lots of unlockables, but it's lacking in content and there really is no real campaign mode to play. Most of your time will either be playing online or bots offline. If it sounds like a game you can enjoy for a long time, be my guest, go pick it up. If not, well, you're not missing much. It's not like it will be Game of the Year or any shit like that. It's not going to be that. It's really only made for Final Fantasy fans. So if you're not one, then Dissidia Final Fantasy NT is not going to be for you. Well, that's pretty much all I can really think about what to say about the game. I'm sorry if I forgot to mention something, but this is a rant, so forgetting something is bound to happen sooner or later. If I did forget something, just mention it in the comments. And on that note, that's it for my ranting review of Dissidia Final Fantasy NT for the PS4. If you enjoyed the video, go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to see more of my upcoming content, you can always subscribe and make sure to click that bell so you can be notified when a new video is live. Do you have Dissidia? Did you regret buying it, or are you loving it? How do you feel about the lack of content and the so-called campaign mode? Let me know in the comments. I'm really interested in this. I really want to talk to more fans out there and know more about what you think about the game. If you want to talk or ask me a question about anything, you can do so on YouTube, or if you really want to, you can follow me on Twitter and talk to me there. I actually prefer that you follow me on Twitter and talk to me on there, because it's easier to talk on there than on the comments on YouTube. I also have a Facebook page, but it's really only to notify on new videos as well. But if you want to talk to me on there, then that's fine as well. Links for Twitter and my Facebook pages are in the description. Okay, well, that's it for today's video. Stay tuned for upcoming reviews, playthroughs, and rants. And if there is anything you want to see me rant on, just send me a message or a tweet. And the same goes for if there is any game you want me to review, old or new, or even if you want me to review a console, or even just rant about a console, that's fine. I have no problem with that. Okay, well, I've been Metal Horror Gamer, and until next time, keep on gaming, gamer.
Now they know the error of their ways.